Everyone, good morning. Welcome to today's session. Starting shortly. So if you know anyone who needs to be on the call, maybe your colleagues, acquaintances you've invited, please let them know that we've started. All right. So let's begin. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. Welcome to today's business webinar brought to you by MTN Nigeria. My name is Ifoma Halim, and I'm one of your delighted hosts in today's session. Super excited because you're all in for an insightful session of learning as our panel of experts will be sharing insights on how to build and manage your teams. If SMEs are the backbone of every economy, it goes without saying that the teams that make up these SMEs must be productive, agile, motivated, and effective. Today's webinar is set to enable all business teams represented here to bring their A game to the workplace. Hope you're as excited as I am. So before I formally introduce our panelists for today's session, I would like to provide some house rules. The very first being that if you have any questions on the subject that I'll be discussing, we ask that you kindly note down these questions in the Q&A chat box, and the questions will be addressed right after we engage our panelists. We'll also have a very special giveaway, which is very exciting. You don't want to miss because it'll be of great benefit to your businesses. So do stay tuned and get set. So let's begin with an introduction of our panelists. Our first panelist today is none other than HR guru Adora Ikwemisi. I'll read her profile. It says, a prolific speaker, writer, and influencer in the field of human resources management, Adora Ikwemisi is the founder of Kendo Consulting Limited, a human resources management consulting firm specializing in learning and development solutions. With a current focus on transforming human resources management practices in Nigeria, she has led several innovative initiatives that demonstrate her dedication to developing the next generation of HR professionals and people managers. She's the author of the self-help book, Change Your Career. She's a trained coach and an experienced facilitator, providing coaching services to individuals and organizations. You're most welcome, Adora. Glad to have you here. Our second panelist is the head of people and culture of Joberman Nigeria, Samantha Ifezulike. Samantha Ifezulike is a seasoned HR professional with progressive 10 years experience in talent acquisition and selection, training, performance management, employee relations, and HR strategy. She's passionate about people management and its contribution to business success and overall growth. As head people and culture Joberman Nigeria, she leads the people and culture department in handling the full spectrum of human resources, administration, and IT, with emphasis on change management, employee engagement, performance management, recruitment and manpower planning, compensation and benefits, succession planning, and employee relations. It's a pleasure to have you here, Samantha. You're muted if you're trying to speak.
Oh, thank you. Thank you thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. And Adora? Adora, are you on the call? Okay, can't seem to find Adora at the moment. Might be having some technical issues, which I'm sure the team will assist with. So let's get started, and Adora will join us shortly. So Samantha, once again, it's a pleasure to have you here. And I'll start off with maybe just finding out a bit about you. If you could share your background in HR, that would be quite interesting to know.
Okay, so I need to unmute. So I would say that my background and journey in HR is, I like to say HR chose me, just because of the way I started. But like every other career, as soon as I got into HR, I fell in love with it. For me, I think it's the most interesting part about my own career and my own profession is being able to advise businesses and use people to drive results and deliver results. But in the same space, I don't think that a lot of people understand that a relationship and employment are the same thing, right? So I see every employment as a relationship, it's a give and take relationship. As an employee, you're giving in your talent. As a business, you're giving into the talent to also feed your business, right? So you need to water the talent, ensure that you get the right people in your business that would follow your business. So, in a nutshell, my HR career has spanned from the consulting. I started off my career at Deloitte, the Big Four, and then I've had consulting experience, financial experience, as well as tech, and then currently in Jobberman. So for me, currently at Jobberman, Jobberman is not. It's not an SME. I would not really an SME, but in what I've been able to do at Jobberman, it's just linking business to what the people would drive the business to get, and just ensure that people have a good environment and home to be in and to deliver results. So that's a nutshell.
Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so while we wait for Adora, let's just jump right into the questions properly. So based on your professional experiences and the services that Job and Demand Nigeria provides, could you kindly share some innovative strategies which you suggest that small business owners can leverage on to attract shining stars, so to speak, in the talent space? Not just attract them, but also how to retain them.
Okay. As I mentioned earlier on, as a small business owner, I want you to look at your business as your own, which is what it is. But in making your business your own now, so you're not making it like your nuclear family. It's more or less like an extended branch, right? So in order to get people into your business, you need to find the right match, right? So how do you find the right match? It means that you need to have things set up in your business. So you need to have policies, culture. This is what I'm proposing my business will be like in the next 5 years, right? And let me say you intend on, scaling in the next 5 years. What will it take you to get to that scale? What will it take you to get to that level? Now you're asking yourself, what kind of people do I need in my business to get me to that stage? So you've identified where you need to go to, right? So now you're asking yourself, what kind of culture, what kind of system do I have to put in place that would make people come in and then also stay, right? So first and foremost, I would advise you to hire for where you want to be, not exactly where you are right now, right? Because you're a small scale business. I don't expect you to say, let me say you're doing a revenue of maybe 1 million naira monthly. You're thinking of getting to a 5 million naira monthly, but how then do you get to that 5 million naira? You know that your current staff strength cannot get you there. So do you now start planning ahead of time and saying, okay, I can afford to get this person in right now, but if we put it together and coach that person or tell the person what exactly to do, or give them, Jobberman soft skill training, for example, they can actually get to that next point, right? So it's also another thing of actually managing your costs. So I'm not a finance person, but I'll tell you to manage your EBITDA, right? And just imagine that Jobberman has a free listing platform, for example. You need to hire. So you look at those things. What can I afford right now? Can I go and pay an external recruiter right now? Or do I want to use the free listing on Jobberman's platform? But what I would tell you is hire right? It doesn't matter if you're not getting the candidate fast. It's better to hire slow than hire wrongly, and then it will take you another 6 months to recuperate. So my advice to you would be, look at where you're going to as a business, right? And tailor your hiring needs to fit where you need to be at. Not exactly where you need to be, where you are currently. But at the same time, you can do it a 50-50. 50% of where I need to be in the next 5 years, and 50% of where I am right now, because there's some skills that you require at the moment that you need to get there. So hire right, hire for your business, not sentimental hiring. For your business, this is where I need to be. That's where you need to focus on. And then also, I would say culture fit. As you're starting your business right now, it might not be so big of a thing, but your personality as the owner would also trickle down into the culture, right? Nobody wants to come into an environment whereby they're always shouting. No matter how great that employee is, you cannot keep that employee, because these days everybody's looking for peace of mind. So is your company giving them that peace of mind, or will someone else give them that peace of mind? So then also have policies. I would not say elaborate policies, but have systems or SOPs in place, in the sense that if somebody comes into your system and they maybe need to leave in the next 3 months, you have an SOP, a guideline to that the next person who will come in can easily read and then start the journey from it. But most importantly, it doesn't need to be very, elaborate or, very fancy or something, but start somewhere. If you're hiring, what do you need to hire for? What are your leave policies like? Do they even know what leave days they need to take? Do they know what statutory things they're entitled to? So don't go overboard. Just keep it small and then start expanding from there. But the first and important thing I would tell you to do is hire right. Don't say, okay, because somebody's my husband's brother or maybe my church member and I want to give them a job, so let me hire, even if they don't fit your business. You're doing yourself a disservice, because you're bringing somebody in because you're being so empathetic or very emotional, or you're not really thinking as a business. You're thinking, I need to just put somebody into the business just to, help my church member or help my neighbor. And that same person can come into your system and then make you lose about 20 million. Let me just give or take. I'm praying for your business to get to that extent, but just think about it, right? Just hire for the business need, hire for where you're going to. Once you get your hiring right, and again, so please, it's never perfect. We're not, it's never perfect, but it can get to that extent. So hire right, hire things in place to just get the system kicking. And as you grow, you would get to expand. So I think I would highlight on being on hiring. Another thing I'll talk about, I would just touch a bit of it, is agility. You need employees who are very flexible, because right now, as of 3 weeks ago, dollar was going up. Now it's coming down. You need people that can easily switch as the socioeconomic things are changing in the environment. You need people that can easily think about plan A, plan B, plan C. How can I get this business I'm working in floating? So you need people that have entrepreneurship mindsets. So this is something that is internal. So because if you hire people like that, you do a little bit of, pushing. Like you can, it's like you're taking a horse to the water, right? You cannot force the horse to drink water. That's what happens when you get people that are very myopic. I will use that word, myopic or laid back. But if you have people that want to keep your business moving, and that are in it for the right reasons, trust me, you'll get a lot out of them. So I would just stop my conversation here. And if you have any more questions, I would answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samantha. That was quite insightful. And I'm sure a lot of us have gained a few insights from that. So the floor will be yours now, Adora. If you could kindly speak to how business owners and HR professionals can actually identify candidates who will not only have the necessary skills, but also the resilience that they need to thrive in our nation's socioeconomic environment.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that great contribution, Samantha. I'm pleased to meet you, pleased to meet everyone. Yes, I would say a lot of what Samantha has said is definitely accurate in the sense that a very key thing, and I think it's a struggle with all SMEs. I mean, if you're a business owner, you've had this experience. So key thing is First of all, SMEs need to be very, very clear on the journey they're going on, because I always say business is like a journey. You should have a clear vision of where you're going. I know lots of businesses ultimately want to be financially buoyant, but that's for a business. And every business's vision is different, and every business's mission, the reason for their existence is different. So it sounds cliche, but we must be very clear on where we're going. Why? Because we need certain people to fulfill that vision. And if we are not clear on the vision, then we're not going to be clear on the kind of people who can get to that destination. So I don't want us to just think about recruitment. Like, it's so easy to say, hey, call up a consultant, hey, recruit for me, or hey, I'm trying to find people. That's the easy part. But what's the more important part is, where are you going in the first place as a business? Now, the kind where you're going will obviously determine the kind of people who should be on that journey with you. For example, if I decide I'm going to the mountains, I want to climb Kilimanjaro, my dear, when I'm hiring, I'm going to look at the people that are likely to survive that journey. First of all, I'm going to be very much interested if they want to even go on the journey in the first place. Because the truth is, when we hire like reactively, or we go for the cheap and available, we just get anyone. And the truth is that once there's a mismatch from the get-go, which is why I wanted to buttress, I know we hear it, but what Samantha said about hiring is the backbone. It's not about, you see, keeping is one thing, right? But when the hiring is wrong, which in most cases it is, like the people don't even want to be there again, because I have a different view about retention. First of all, you shouldn't be trying to retain someone who doesn't want to be retained. Hmm? If somebody's desires are different from your organization's, then retention is not even on the table. It shouldn't even be. So the question is, why are they there in the first place? Because they're just available, because unemployment is high, because you're just looking for someone and you got, and this is what SMEs do. You just get who is available because you say, okay, this is what I can afford. Well, if you continue getting people you can afford and not being very clear on your vision and just getting people right into your company, you're going to constantly be mismatched with people who don't really want to be there. Some people are there just because of condition. Some people are there just coasting. Some people are there. The inefficiency will be wide, because it's like going into a marriage where both of you don't care about each other, don't think about each other, and then you're suddenly find yourself going on a journey, because business is a journey. And business, if you have a vision for that business, you want it to last a certain time to fulfill a certain objective. Imagine being on that journey with somebody who, one, maybe it's not even clear where you're going, someone who doesn't want to go where you're going, someone who doesn't have the skills, or they cannot add value, or they're just there for, so that mismatch, I don't want us to miss that point. Because a lot of businesses, if we sit down, look into our hearts, you know that your hiring is a mess. That's where the problem begins. The people that you're even interviewing, like, and I like to give very practical examples, because I believe that's what people are here on the call, for. We go to SMEs, spend too much time on the cheap and available. Yes, it's like I know what people are saying, like it's like a chicken and egg situation, as in my budget, definitely. But you know what? When you have a budget, use that budget well. You still need to hire people who can take you to who can follow you on the journey and who can fulfill the objectives of the firm. You're just going to be wasting your time. It's like spending good money after bad. Once it's a mismatch, it's a mismatch. You're just wasting your money. So different strategies. Maybe as we speak, we will talk more clearly about, okay, what can I do if this is what I have? There are many mistakes that as businesses, and I'll give you one practical one. Small businesses, just hiring plenty people that can't do nothing for you. Okay. I remember about 15 years ago, I remember talking to a friend of mine, SME. He called me up to help him hiring. And I was like, who do you want to hire? It's like, he wanted to hire someone in sales. And then this is about 15 years ago. I was like, okay, so what's your budget? And he was like, 60K. And I was like, are you insane? You want to kill yourself? Who are you going to get with 60? So at the time we were having a discussion and I said, you know what? Why don't you just hire, why don't you just hire 2 people? And I was like, you know what? That 300K budget, he wanted to hire about 6 or 7 people. And I said, you know what? Can you just hire 2 people? One on 250, and then the other one on, let's say, I don't know, the 60K you wanted. He screamed, hey! As if, I'm like, but the budget is still the same. So a lot of SMEs, I don't know whether they have this thing of there must be plenty. You hire these 60K, 50K people, there are many, right? But what they are is like, they maybe they're unskilled, they don't have the competencies to take you on the journey, but you like the fact that I'm hiring. You feel good that you have plenty people, but what's the content and the value of those people? Whereas 2 people, 3 people with the skills, with the belief, and at different levels. And I think that's another thing we'll come up to, because sometimes if you put all your eggs in one basket, all your people are Gen Z, you're in trouble. Because Gen Z are looking for experience. They're going to leave you. So that's another thing. Whereas a big firm has the buffer. They can hire, they have one oldie there, and people will be wondering, if you notice in big companies, they have people across generations, right? And then you have a young firm and you're saying, I just want young people, agile, this one. The agility that you're looking for, they will use the agility to move. You understand? You have a team that's not diverse. Oh boy, they're looking for different things. They don't have stability at that age. They don't need it. When I was that age, I wasn't looking for anybody to hold me down. And people remember that the career and employment is a different ballgame now. Nobody's looking for a 30-year employment anymore. When you're young now, people used to be straight out of school, 1 career, 2 careers max. And now they're not even looking for careers. People are looking for different things. The state of mind of people is very different. Mental health is a big issue now because we've come out of we've come out of a pandemic. Okay, a lot of people are not okay. Let me tell you that for a fact. So if you pinch them small, the speed in which they will run, it's not like before, where people had, when people say things like that, it's real because we're in a different time. So people scream a lot. People say, oh, though they don't have resilience. Yes, they actually do not have the resilience that people had before. So we need to be very clear, one, where you're going, your vision, because you need to tie the kind of people you hire to where you're going. And they need to have the competencies and the mind and the heart to follow that journey. Once there's no alignment, you haven't got their hearts. They're not on a journey with you. You're on your own. You think you're leading people, but when you look behind you, there's nobody. So you first of all have to be very clear that whoever you're with, but the minute you discover that, what, people are just here for it's just transactional, obviously, you have the wrong team and you might just have to find a way to just rebuild the team if that is what you want. But first of all, clarify your vision, be very clear on where you're going, and then get the right people on the bus. Know your destination, and then get the right people who can follow you on the bus. So that would be my first, contribution. I just want to be taking one thing at a time in terms of let's talk about hiring first. Yes.
Thank you so much for that, Adora. So we've spoken about attracting the right hands. We've also touched on retaining those hands as well. So now let's touch on actually creating a positive and collaborative team culture. So the question is for you, Samantha. What are some innovative strategies that business owners and human relations professionals can do to create that necessary team culture?
Okay. So like every other thing, right? It starts from a pulse, which is like you need to check the pulse first, feel them. What are people yearning for, right? Just some things that are already there in the system, right? What are they looking for? So in searching for that pulse, you can decide to do, oh, I'm a small SME. Do you want to have like a maybe a chit chat with them and say, okay, what are you looking at for? What are you looking? What exactly do you want? And you'll be very surprised that out of that, maybe money is like 50%. Some other people want maybe flexible work. Some other people, it depends if you're working, if you're maybe you own maybe a fashion design business, for example, or maybe a restaurant or a laundromat or whatever, and they're saying, oh, madam, can we have like maybe lower working hours or something? And those things, you might maybe overlook them, that they're not serious, but they're telling you what they want. And that's what they want to use to stay back. At the same time, I'll be very honest with you. Sometimes some requests come in and then you're wondering exactly, is this actually a request? Is this, am I running a charity shop or is this a business, right? And I think it is important for you as a business owner, look at it and say to yourself, what exactly is real and what is not real, right? What exactly can I afford and what can I not afford? Someone might tell you, oh, madam, can we actually get an HMO? And then you look behind, you actually do the math and think that an HMO is actually not expensive for a year, right? Do you want to tell people that after you've spent maybe 6 months in my company, I can now register you for an HMO? Or maybe you look for an HMO that will give them maybe monthly payouts or something. But the fact that you've taken that child care, that like impromptu hospital bill of 300K off their table, you would see what that would do to them. So you're paying, I'm not going to mention HMO names here, but let me say you're paying HMO one or two, maybe a 15,000 naira monthly, or maybe for a year, 60,000 naira. Think about it in relation to their salary. Could you comfortably pay that? And what burden have you taken off their back, right? For them, their family. So feel the pulse and then know exactly what people want. So when it comes to collaboration, a lot of people like working around amongst different teams, right? Let me say you have the social media person, for example, in your team. Have you asked her, oh, are you interested in maybe doing customer service? Although it's a branch of customer service, right? And so I'm thinking about the person who comes up with content. So do you want to interface with these clients? Is there any other thing that you would want to do within the environment, within the workspace? But however, it's also important that you do not promise, but to hear them out and then go back to your table and see how you can reassign and reallocate things. But the important thing is that give them a listening ear. Let them know that you actually care about them. Let them know that if they have challenges, either with, it could be they're in sales department, for example, and they need something from maybe the CX team, and the CX team is not coming forth or something. Let them be open to walk up to you and not report per se, but just because they want that collaboration. Let them know that you are available. And then once you're able to break that barrier in a very respectful way, right? And most of the time you're dealing with blue collar workers. So I'm trying not to segregate. It happens the same thing, white collar. Everybody's beauty. It's just a different ballgame entirely. But it's important to separate that and let them know that you genuinely care. Have projects that would bring different people together, right, at different points in time. It could be that you're organizing end of year party or maybe a team bonding. Have you thought about setting a committee? Bringing people from sales, people from marketing, people from maybe the cleaners, anybody, let them just be a part of it and feel like they contributed to planning something. It will not be the same way every other time, but just the fact that people get to other people on projects that are not work related, but still work related, right? Because there's a goal to why you're doing that, right? And from that point in time, people begin to learn about different skills that they did not even realize they knew. They add self. And that way, you're also growing them. Apart from on the job training, this is another form of collaboration. And then celebrate wins, celebrate things like birthdays, whatever. Just little things like give a shout out, have like one organize meetings maybe if you can't do monthly or quarterly, but in those meetings ensure that there's something fun in the meeting. Most times we don't always need to open a box of pizza. No, it's not every time, right? Have a meeting, talk about the things you can even talk about. Right now we are in a we're in a very funny triangle with the dollar, right? Are you having a finance session and saying, how are people managing your money? What are the investments you can do? I think that most times as Nigerians and business owners, when we think about investment, we're talking about, 500K. I'm just giving an example, 1 million, 2 million, or somebody's selling, commercial papers or a bond or whatever. It can be as little as 20K a month. How are you managing your money? Do you know the money rules? Are you distributing your wants, your needs, and your other things? Do they even understand how to manage money? Someone, you can give two people 60,000 naira. One person is saving 20K a month, not because of the responsibility. They both have the same responsibility, just because of how they're able to manage their money. So I'll take, for instance, last year we had a financial literacy. It was just a financial session we had in the office. It was a KSS session. But that session, I would tell you for a fact, I think till December, we had a session, I think in May or before May. Till December, you still had the employees come tell you, Samantha, thank you, that thing really worked. And the interesting part was that finance still shared a template for people to use. And that template is what people actually use. And for the fact that they want to do other things beyond work. It could be something serious. Are you having health talk with them? Are you, like as Azora said, we're all not okay. We're trying to be okay, but we're not all not okay. Are you having like talks with them and saying, okay, this particular, maybe an HM is having this talk. Could you people register for this talk? Some things you don't need to pay for some things. Now, this session is free. Have you registered for this session to learn? Even for the supervisor, I don't even expect that it's only business owners that will be on this call. I expect that supervisors be on this call, managers be on this call, because you cannot be the only one managing your people. So for big organizations, we say, okay, we work with line managers, because line managers are the supervisors. So they need to actually know how to manage people. And most importantly, it's also important that we know that we are not Jesus Christ. So we're not perfect, but we're working towards perfection. That's important. But in terms of managing and creating, just ensure that you have things in place. If it's a beach day out, ensure that it's well structured, there's team building. People would not understand that they're learning a lot from their team members. They don't even know their similarities. Are they sessions that people know the similarities? People are working, right? But I'll use myself as an example. You're working as a medical professional. I'm working, like I love my HR work, but the other things I love, right? Sometimes I can move in the wind of maybe fashion. Sometimes it could be researching on travel, but there are things that would get you interested in one another, right? So just, make sure you create an environment that people would feel comfortable to collaborate on the work, education, collaboration, anything to just make sure that they feel better. Remember, it's 8 hours in the office. That's where you actually spend most of your time. It could be in the shop floor, or maybe be a cash and teller, or customer service, or a receptionist, but you're there most parts of the day. It means that it's not only your line manager, your other employees will contribute to how well you thrive and how well that environment is collaborative. So what I would say is be the collaboration, be the person that reaches out, be the person that creates an environment for your line manager, your teammates, your superior, whoever the case is. I think that's like a good summary. So yeah. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much,
Thank you so
Ifoma.
much, Dan. Thank you. So, for the sake of time, we'll start to wrap up just by finally touching on the role of training and development. So, over to you, Adora. If you could kindly share how training and development can be used to bridge employees' skill gaps, especially in industries with high talent shortage.
See, my mic is up.
So
Yes,
that's
that's a
right.
very interesting one. Yes, yes. A very interesting one because there is actually a very huge talent shortage, and I'll explain how. The, people, I know we have there's generally an employment issue, but honestly, there's a bigger talent gap issue, in the sense that it's not like there are actually still lots of vacancies. Lots of businesses actually have vacancies, even especially even small businesses. But the issue is that the people available don't necessarily have the skills. They don't have the skills to fulfill a lot of the vacancies. I'm sure, I mean, Samantha from Jobberman, you probably, I mean, there's lots of vacancies. People are posting vacancies every day. So what can be done? I see it as a double-edged sword here, like the approach, okay? One thing about SMEs that is typically a problem for them is the budgets. And that's one of the reasons why SMEs hire, based on budget, they hire people that they can afford to. But a lot of times, these people don't have the skills. And then you put them on the job, and then the job is not done. And then you have the frustrated SME business owner, because the people you actually are paying are actually delivering the value of their pay or less, because they just can't do it. So what can you do proactively? If you are very clear on your jobs, very, very clear, and this is where it's very important for systems to be clear on the documentation of their business processes. What are the activities? What are your jobs? The jobs in your organization, the activities that create value for your organization. Are you producing plantain chips? Are you delivering recruitment services or consultancy services? How your business creates value. If you can document it so that you have processes that are well defined, then it's easy for you to have a system where you can train people. Without documentation, without clear process definitions of your key activities, it's difficult to standardize it. And when you can't standardize something, it's difficult to train people to be able to do it. So first things first, where does training fit into this? In skilling the people that you're trying to hire, especially because they do not have the skills initially. Yeah, you can't afford the people with the skills, right? So, but you should be able to invest in something which is training the people to do the work to the level and the standard that you want it to. So that's where training comes in. You want this particular activity done, then you train people to be able to do it. Now, this is what businesses that are maybe bigger businesses, this is what the banking sector does very well by putting people in training school for 3 to 4 months before they release them to their customers, right? So they don't just come in and they start work. This is what internship programs are for. This is what apprenticeships programs are for, in the sense of taking people through a tailored approach where they are handheld maybe before you release them live. So that's what you can do. Now, some people will be saying, but after I train them, they will leave. Okay, you don't train them and they stay. What's the cost of that? I can tell you it is costlier. It's costlier in mistakes. It's costlier in outputs. It's costlier in productivity, because they're not going to be delivering value. The mistakes that they make will be much, much costlier. I mean, much more costly than the mistakes that the money you're trying to save. So investing in that training and development is part of I would call it's just part of the money you invest to ensure that your business is running, your operations. So it's operational. I'm trying to make sure that, people come in and do this particular activity. So I make sure I train them to do this particular activity. And, so that's where training fits in, of course, for a small business. Now, of course, if your business is medium size or bigger and you have managers, then training like leadership development and management development programs are also beneficial for people who manage other people who lead other people. So training is based on the training for a specific skill set or a specific job, right? So you train your people so that they can do a job to a certain standard. It's an investment in your business operations. You develop your people for, your leaders, you develop your managers because you expect them to, manage the other people and have other skills related to managing and developing other people. So that's the role of training and development, to improve your operations, to ensure that your business delivers its mandate, what it was set out to. So it's not something that we should shy away or think that if you're putting it into your business, but just make sure if you want to get the best of it, standardize your processes. Because once your processes are clear, it's easy to say when somebody comes in, this is the process that they go through. This is what they must know. And then this is the person or this is the process of ensuring that they have this knowledge so that they can do the job to a certain standard. But if you don't have any process for training or development, then things get a bit, there's no standards there, and then you're just anything can happen, and mistakes are they're prone. Anyone can do anything can happen. So that process is very key for the sake of sustainability, for the sake of delivering value, for the sake of compliance, for the sake of standards. That's what training and development can help you to make sure that your people have the skill sets to deliver. And if you can't afford people with the skills, then that, you can put your budget into training and development, as a buffer, so that the people are now, you train the people. So you're paying a little, but your investment is training and development. And then you can start thinking of retention. And even if retention is difficult, if you have a good training and development process, people can come and go, but the system is working, the training is going on. So you're constantly training people. I was talking to someone yesterday, and we were talking about this issue, and he was saying that, and I've had a similar experience. He said they never succeeded at hiring people at higher levels, that they always, no matter where you are, that they hire everybody as analysts, that you cannot come into, if you have 6 years. He was giving me examples, people with 6 years experience, when they come into their firm, he says everybody's analyst. And I listened to him, and I was like, you know what, I get you. And he's not the only one who has shared this sentiment. Not to say, remember, businesses are different, please. So don't think that, okay, but it may not work for you. Of course, the bigger your business, the more it can absorb things. But with them, they have I listened to him talking me through his, their training and development process. And he says at that analyst level, you'll be handheld, you'll be reporting to an associate. And, until you're doing well and able to do all the tasks to support an associate, will you be promoted? They can fast track you, but you must be able to do the things that, and they're not going to make any assumptions, because as far as they're concerned, if you don't like their terms, no problem, don't join. But if you want to join their firm, then this is their own procedure. You can prove yourself. When you prove yourself there, then they can fast track you. But they need you to have certain knowledge. But what I notice is that they've standardized their processes. It's very structured, so they're able to do that. And being a smaller business, it works for them. What a big business can absorb, you cannot. So know the one that works for you. It's very, very key. But one thing I know that will always work is structure and systems. The better the structure, the better your systems, then they can withhold retention, in terms of even when people are coming and going, because the system is going to, another set of people will come, and then you have the processes around training and developing them, and people just keep going, and the system survives. It doesn't just crash. So that will be my contribution on training and development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adora. Thank you, Samantha. The insights shared, I love that they're very practical and relatable as well for business owners present. I'm sure we learned quite a lot. So moving on to the Q&A session, if anybody on the call has a question for these panel of experts, please do share. I would love to answer any questions. Absence of questions, we would move on to the next segment. Thank you once again to our experts. I'm sure we would have a session where we can actually share your email address in case anyone is interested in reaching you directly for further engagement. I'll be handing over to my teammate, Derry. Derry, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you so much. It's been very insightful session. Okay, I think someone dropped a question for a budding business owner trying to work with a volunteer team. What's your advice? Budding business owner trying to work with a volunteer team.
Can I answer that one?
Adora, take it away. Let's hear you. What do you think on?
Please, I will, because I have experience with volunteer teams. Okay, so if you know, I run obviously, Adora, I founded a conference, which, It's not mute. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Adora, yeah, I can hear you.
You, Adora. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, good. Okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry. So if
Still can't
you know
hear
anything
you.
about me, I brought.
Still
Hello?
can't hear you.
But,
Okay, but
Samantha, you can hear me, right?
At all, we can't hear you. Okay, let's hear from
I
Samantha.
hear
Let's see
Adora.
while we sort out Adora's
Okay,
audio.
but Daring, people are hearing me. So is it
Daring,
Daring
maybe
or?
try.
I think you can
It's from Daring.
Yeah, because I can hear you, Adora. So I think you can continue.
Okay, so Daring, everybody else can hear me. And
sorry, the fault was mine. The fault was mine. Sorry, please start again. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Yes. So I run an annual conference, and which has been happening for about 15 years now. And if it's volunteers, my advice to you is don't. Okay. If you have a serious agenda and you want to fulfill its objectives, have a core team. The volunteers you can't control. And this is me. I've worked in committees with volunteers as well as, core team. Have your core team, even if it's two people, even if it's one person. The volunteers are not committed. I'm sorry to say, but the environment as well is not ripe for volunteering. People volunteer when their needs are met. It's very difficult. I'm not saying you won't get any volunteer, but when people are struggling, it's very hard to volunteer. What does your volunteering mean? The people who are volunteering, can they afford transport? Can they afford internet? Can they afford data? You need a certain level of commitment. So somebody can volunteer when they have free time and they have resources. When somebody doesn't have resources, they can't be a decent volunteer. You can't build a business around volunteers only. So you must have your core team, right? The volunteers can fit into them, but remember, the volunteers will work at their own pace. So if you want a team of volunteers, then you need to at least provide the resources. If it's transport, maybe they need to do things. If it is the cost of data, you need to have a stipend, that you actually give, and have them report to a core team at least. But if it is just you and volunteers, my dear, you're going to be frustrated because you're not going to be able to get value from these people. You know how volunteers, we all volunteer now. Some of you are volunteers in church or groups. You know how you behave. Okay. So just know that
you can't kill me.
Volunteering is after you've done everything you want to do, right? Yeah. The volunteering is not your priority. So please, if you want to see results, then volunteers should be last. You can use them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't, but you need to make an investment in a core team. Yeah.
Fantastic. Samantha, you have any? I mean, that's just the first thing that comes to mind is church. We are all more dedicated than each other when it comes to volunteering. Nobody is paying me in church environment or in an NGO. So I said, I don't feel like coming today. You can't kill me. So, yeah. Samantha, you want to drop in something?
Sorry, I'm laughing. I think Adora's control was spot on, right? But I think what I need to add to it is that I think it depends on your business, right? It depends on the business you're doing, right? If you have an NGO that is a non-profit, right, for maybe teens or something, then you would use volunteers. But again, as we've all discussed, it's in line with your business. Like, treat your business, the people will drive that. But if you have a revenue generating business and you want to use volunteers, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because they can't see you making a bag and then you're not paying them. It needs to make sense, right? Yeah. And I think that for Adora has already said it depends, right? So at every point in time, we would either use volunteers because one, we're either trying to groom people for the workforce, right? And in so doing, right, it's the same thing with interns. You either give them a stipend. So if you want to use volunteers and you really want to get results, that's the word, result, because Adora and I was talking about it, like, look at your business, where I'm going to. Like, if you want to get results, now tailor it and say, okay, do I want to give them transportation? Do I have a space for them to even maybe give them accommodation or something? But something has to give. Yeah. It's volunteering, exactly. That's fine. And we all know that we're working with our brain, right? If we're not 100% okay, like this is not going to work, right? If we know that we have bills to pay, this is not going to work. So look at structuring it into maybe like a small stipend, but importantly, let them know the cost why they are volunteering, right? So it's different from the church environment. You know, when you are dedicated to a particular cause, right? It could be gender, it could be mental health or something. So sometimes you can volunteer when you can volunteer, but it's also important that they are well aligned to that cause. Because if that cause is not there, then there's really nothing holding them. There's really nothing holding them. So look at it very well. If it's working for you, how best can I now push from a gear 1 to a gear 2? So if an incentive would get them to gear 2, you're moving your business. So think about it.
Yeah. Fantastic. So either way, there has to be a motivation. There has to be a motivation. You have to motivate people. If it's not intrinsic in terms of maybe they are tied to a cause, because there's some things I can volunteer for because it's tied to my heart. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you need to do some extra work to find those people who is tied to and those ones will be harder to find. I'm not sure it's easy to find those people. And then the people who will work for extrinsic factors like money or compensation, you need to. In my whole career, I've only ever found one person who honestly till this day, I try to remember that guy who actually volunteered in my organization. But you know what? After the first month, we gave him a stipend to cover transport, but I never saw anyone. Just to show you that there's always the people, but they are rare. Yeah. And this guy volunteered for 6 months, but we gave him transport. But after then, we've never done that because I remember the next person we hired as well, who was volunteering. My dear, after 1 month, she came and said, this that she will not be able to continue volunteering. Yes.
Okay. I have one more question.
Is there something we can do? You know, and I remember there's also another experience I had where I brought a whole lot of people. They were all volunteers. They all actually signed up to volunteer. I brought them together in a room. There was a strategy session, talked about the conference. This was the first time I wanted to use volunteer. There were like 40 of them, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, no one showed up. Nobody, not even one showed up. And after then, we started hiring temps. So I always have a temp team, and the temps are paid, not stipend, they are paid for the period. So we use temps, not volunteers.
That's fantastic.
No. And then we use volunteers, but they are the tail end. So the structure is core team, right? Temps, and then volunteers. Like when you feel like, so we do use them, but my dear, they are like back. We're not relying on them. It's like.
Thank you so much.
I want to say something. I want to say something. Just she added a question. She said she gives them stipend. That's fine. I think another thing you can do is what is the way forward after this volunteering? Do you want to partner with companies for them? Do you want to help them find a job or something, right? So they've given your time. You're a business owner, so you have people that can either employ them in the afterwards, or if they need to make maybe career moves or something. So they have. It's not. I'm not going to call it a transactional, but it's just it's a thank you for what you've done for me. So you can look into that.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, for as long as it works, you also have to have clear outputs expected, so at least you know the ones that are performing. But if they are not, so that once they are not performing, you know that like you need to re-strategize. So once you're clear on your output, if what they're doing for you is maybe dropping flyers or posting on social media or like making phone calls, whatever it is they're doing for you, just measure it. So at least you know the ones that are productive, and if they're productive, then you can obviously consider making
there's a basis to engage.
Fantastic. Exactly.
So someone here says, Omolara says here, I give internet and stipend Dove. I give a bit of stipend to them. They are virtual and they don't need to come to the office and all that. So one last question, and this is quite it speaks to the bottom line of many companies, and it worries me too as an employee. It says training and development is quite costly, and but I discovered some organizations lay off their staff after that kind of cost outlay. You've trained a lot of people, all of a sudden you are downsizing and all that. Do these layoffs have any effect on company budgets and organizational budgets? So you spent a lot of money Some even send staff abroad and do some high-tech training and certifications only because of something you now downsize. What happens? What's the effect on organizational budgets? And then this is right down the HR alley. You're saying, oh, we've trained these guys, or we've spent millions to send some of them abroad. Now there's a problem and we have to downsize. Can't you find a way around it? Can't you say, yeah, guys, reduce your salary. Let's reduce salary for like 6 months while we balance out. What's your thought?
If you ask me, downsizing is always a business decision. Once you've decided to downsize, it's because you've looked at the long-term costs, right? Training people is part of your cost of your doing business. The business is a risky thing, but if you hold someone when you don't need them again, then you're causing more problems for your business. I know people find it difficult to understand layoffs, and just like you rightfully said, oh, why don't you have people's salaries? Let me tell you something about human beings. When they see, and this is from experience, you see, especially when they see things like this happening, like when they see that the firm is not doing well or laying off, they've started looking out. Okay. The only time I've seen people maybe by pay slashes, yes, I've seen it work before, but it was the staff who actually suggested it. Okay. They suggested that they took a pay cut. So I'm a consultant, I've seen different things happen. So I've seen a situation where staff suggested a pay cut, but let me tell you, those same people, most of them, they start looking out immediately. Okay, so people don't like it. See, people have bills to pay. We have to look on the other side. When people, if you cut somebody's salary in half, let me tell you, the average person is not going to stay with you. Okay, and that's why recruitment and who you carry on your journey is very key. People have motivations for working, and part of the reason why they are working is for compensation. If I slash your salary in half, you will be looking for another job. You're not ride or die. You understand? The average employee is not ride or die. They are there for a reason, and the compensation is a big part. So if you cut it, it's not going to work. So that strategy for most management is not an option. It may be an option if the persons, or for people who are very close to this management, who have agreed for those pay cuts. But typically, no management will agree to slash people's salary in half or to 30. What I'm saying, even when they do that, they know that people are looking out. People are ready. The minute you cut my salary into you must be joking. Even if I'm there, I'm just looking for the next job. It happens a lot. We know it. Some of us have experienced it. You didn't come there for a third salary. So if they cut your salary, you're going to look out. So you've lost money by investing in them. That's business loss. It happens. I'm not going to say because I've lost money training people, I'm not going to lay them off. Yes, when I plan, when we send them on training, or when we train them, we plan for a return on investment, but business is risky. And sometimes you've gotten your return on investment anyway, maybe. And if you haven't, so be it. But to hold on to someone just for the sake of it, no. Layoffs are usually a business decision. A long-term view has been looked at. The business needs in the next 2 years, 3 years, the staff is not needed. Free them. Let them, if they're skilled, they're going to find work. What you can do is put outsourcing services in place in terms of outplacement services, help them maybe even look for work, give them a good package, like a layoff package,
Severance,
compensation, severance. Yes, that to me, you're doing better. And if there are few people, or there are people who want to stay, they will approach the management typically, and they can become contractors or something. Right. So there are other options, but when a firm decides we're laying off, it's a business decision. It's not personal. And if you notice, look at those firms, they will hire again. You understand? And
so that's the
return
shocking
to
part. So
firms.
are you going to have to retrain
Yeah.
those people? So that's the shocking part.
It's
So
business cost. It is. But if your business model has changed, you may not even be doing those services again. Companies are constantly evolving. They're constantly evolving, changing their business models. Hey, you needed to train people then. Maybe now you don't need to train people. Hey, you needed to hire people then. Maybe you're not going to hire as many permanent employees that need to be trained anymore. Maybe you're going to, instead of buying and acquiring all your staff, maybe you're going to bot some of them, which is AI, use bots. Maybe a third of your staff are now going to be gig workers, freelancers, who you don't need to train anyway. So when you make these decisions, usually your remodeling is a new business model in which your staff complement may not be the same. So you may not go out to train again because you're going to work with contractors who you don't need to train. So just understand that business is an evolving situation. Nothing is static. The environment, the context is evolving. There's lots of stimuli that are affecting businesses. So businesses are trying to adapt. They are being chuked here, they are moving here and there. So a business is an entity and it's affected. So we won't ponder on some things are sunk cost. It's gone. Let's remodel and we move again.
Thank you so much. Samantha, we just have about a minute. Let's just hear, because Adora she has talked like the HR mama that she is.
I'm not so.
Samantha.
I think another thing, there's another aspect of this too. It's being resourceful, right? And it's being agile. Most of the times, as people, we wait for our employers to say, oh, let me basically give you water. Water is the training, by the way. Let me give you water so that you drink. But nobody thinks about it and saying, okay, this is what my company is giving to me. This is where I need to go as a person, not the business now, right? Remember, I said it's a relationship, right?
Yes.
The same way we take care of ourselves, that's the same way you should take care of yourself technically, right? What are the trainings that would make me indispensable, make me resourceful across board? So that by the time those setups are done, it's like, okay, oh, we can't use Shino here, or we cannot use maybe a Jessica, yeah, or whatever the case is. But Jessica is resourceful. I think that Jessica can be moved to this department. At that time now, there's another way, there's another part, right? But if you decide to be, you know what, let me just, I don't want to be resourceful, I just want to do things, or, I don't want to be more or less value. That's what I'm trying to preach, right? Value. Value comes from what the business requires. It's not your personal thing. It's not what you think, okay, this is what, it's not eye service or whatever the case is. It's value, right? And that value, because there's so much brain drain in Nigeria. There's so much scarcity of talent right now that people would do a lot to retain the good talent, right? So in that discussion, it's value we're looking at. It's value, resourcefulness we're looking at. And those things are also, aside from what the company will give to you, is what am I bringing on board? So I think that's it's nobody wants to invest and lose money. Make yourselves resourceful, right? We all know how very, very flexible and very funny the environment, the work and business is, economy is, right? In the scale of those things, the same way we're saving investments or whatnot, your brain is also an investment. How are you investing in yourself to ensure that once that thing lands, or if it doesn't even land, other people are looking at me and saying, you know what, this person is a key talent. If it doesn't work out, we're not like back in our parents' days, they will start in the same company, finish till they die, right? I'm a millennial, I'm a late millennial. So we don't operate that way again, right? We know that businesses are looking at who is great to add value to their business. So that's what I would say. So take what Adora said, take what I've said, ensure that you're resourceful. This is not eye service, resourcefulness. You understand the business, you understand the value you're bringing to the business. And you can actually prefer a solution and say, okay, I know we've downsized this. I think that, we can actually, you just never know. But the important thing is that understand that whatever you're saying is in line with the business. I'm emphasizing in line with the business, not your personal gains. In line with what the business, that's really it from my own end.
Thank you, Samantha and Adora. This is fantastic. And we are 102 on the call now. We crossed the 100 mark. So, but just to inform everybody, this session is being recorded. In a couple of days, this whole session is going to be on the MTN Nigeria YouTube page. You can watch it all over and see this brilliant HR experts, Samantha and Adora, take you through the session all by yourself. So we are moving over to the next section now. Thank you so much. Remember, we have giveaways at the end of this. You know, MTN never gathers you in vain, gathers customers in vain. So please just be on standby. Don't log out. Thank you so much, Adora. Thank you, Samantha. Yes, yeah, look at you. So
I'm here for the giveaway.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
as enterprise business, yes, thank you. As enterprise business, we are businesses that deal with as enterprise business in MTN, we deal with businesses, especially you, our dear SMEs. We have solutions and products that will help you boost your business, be more productive. If you've listened to all what Adora and Samantha have said in this session. So right now, I'll be bringing on board our next speaker. He's Ufodike Chimwanya Aroma. Ufodike is an energetic business executive, well-networked, and has demonstrated ability to lead through pivotal moments and provide guidance on growth strategies. He is people-centered and a motivational leader with proven track record of exceeding sales and financial objectives. He is Chief Growth Officer of Cloudinly, and Cloudinly is a solution we have partnered with, an organization which we have partnered with to deliver a solution called Cloudinly HR and Payroll Solution. And Chimwanya, good morning. Nice to have you on the call. I think you're muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. Good morning, Derry. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning, Chimwanya. Chimwanya, as you said, is Chief Growth Officer of Cloudinly. Yeah. Oh, so people are already identifying you, Chimwanya. But let's leave that for now. So Chimwanya will be Chimwanya. So Chimwanya will be taking us through a short walkthrough of the Cloudinly platform. Are you looking to automate your HR and payroll processes with a solution that is homegrown? Yes, I think you will need that. No more Forex need to pay for foreign software to do your HR and payroll. And so MTN has brought you Cloudinly, HR and payroll solution in partnership with Cloudinly Nigeria. So Chimwanya, over to you.
Good morning once again, Derry. Thanks. And Samantha and Adora, great job. Great job. So the first question I usually ask myself is why switch? Why switch to Cloudinly? All right. Why do anything that's web-based? That's the first question I ask myself. And I have really answers for us today. Number one is accessibility. You know, with Cloudinly, you can easily access whatever it is you want to do. All your entire HR tools are available to you online from anywhere you are. All right. Now, second thing is scalability. As an SME,
you may want to share your screen now, Chimwanya, if you want to.
Yeah, I'm doing that, Derry. I'm on it right now. So, like I was saying, the next thing you're thinking about is scalability. Okay, as a young business aiming to, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, it's coming up. So just minimize this and take us to the Cloudinly deck. Fantastic.
Okay, good. All right. So scalability. How do you grow your business from like, I mean, what Adora and Samantha had been saying earlier on. I mean, you're a small scale business owner, and then you want to manage your resources carefully to get you to the next level. All right, that's one. I mean, two, you're now a little bit above that level, and then you're growing bigger. And then how do you manage your people? They spoke a lot about attracting and retaining the right kind of people. So how do you do that? How do you get all of that done? You know, with Cloudinly, brought to you by MTN, the one of the biggest things about it is that it's your ability to scale whatever it is you do, whether you have 1 staff, 5 staff, 100, 1,000, whatever it is you have, you can work it through so that every staff has the same amount of attention, that any other person has. And like Derry said, the next thing is costing. I mean, with a high rise in dollar and inflation as well, you want to have something that's local, something that you don't have to crack your head about. And I mean, even if you have the funds to purchase dollars at 2,000, for example, second headache is, where do I get the dollars from? How do I send it out of the country? All right. So with Cloudonly, everything is local. You pay in Naira, maintain your accounts in Naira, and all of that. And then that takes us to the next thing, data security.
Chimoy, they said they want to see your face, that you're not, they can't see your face properly.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I hope my face is available now, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. So I was saying that the next thing is your data security. So every company, not just the HR people, every company wants to have its data secure so that if anything happens, you're not running helter-skelter thinking of how do I get my things together again. So with a cloud-based solution gives you absolute security to your data. So nothing's going to happen except maybe they throw another bomb in Hiroshima or somewhere, right? So we know that data security, your data is secured. And then it creates a streamlined process from A to Z. Everything you do concerning your HR, streamlined. All right. So as an HR person, just at the click of a few buttons, you can look at your processes, understand those processes, and channel resources to the areas where you need to channel resources to easily. All right. And then HR has to collaborate a lot with other departments in a company. All right. So what Cloudonly does for you is enables your HR department to create those collaborations. So whether it's product people, whether they're field people, whether they're volunteers, the great volunteers we heard about, whether they're the volunteers, you just need to be able to collaborate between departments. And that is another thing that Cloudonly brings to you. And one thing that I hit my hand on my chest for is the analytics. The analytics that comes, analytics and reporting that comes from using Cloudonly, right? So it creates perfect analytics for you. So you know, even when you overpay your staff, you know the staff that is underperforming. As a company, you can also know when you're spending too much money in one area, whether it's in loans and advances, leave allowances, when you're overpaying yourself in terms of salaries, or when you're actually underpaying your staff also. So your analytics is great for you. It's a great tool for you to know when all these things are done. And then using that, you can now readjust your company for overall profitability. All right. And then the appraisal model on Cloudonly is something that everybody should jump on board with, right? So you appraise both your staff and yourself, all right? So whether it's your line boss, all the way from your line boss to the head of the company, you know exactly what every staff is doing. And then if a staff isn't doing well, right, he goes back to his ESS, which is the employee self-service module of Cloudonly, and he can tell if I'm doing well or if I'm not doing well. Am I meeting my targets? Do I need extra help in what area and stuff like that? And then that takes us to the almighty training that we just heard about. I mean, when you look at that and your staff isn't doing too well, what do I do? What areas do I need to train my staff in? So these are all the things that Cloudonly brings to you, all right? And then I think it was Amadora who had mentioned compliance. Compliance in terms of taxation, in terms of pensions, in terms of housing benefits and stuff like that. All of that is worked into Cloudonly and it's fully automated. So once you want your company to be government compliant, you just click on a button and it takes care of that for you. So what it means is that for a small scale business, you don't need to pay so much money to have an HR person. Because one thing that Cloudonly for MTN does also is that once you get to the eShop and sign up with Cloudonly, Cloudonly gives you support from beginning to the end. All right. And that support also includes some form of HR consultant for the smaller companies who really don't have any HR person they can pay or speak with. We have in-house HR people and also some external people who can come in at any time you want, set your company up in the right way. And this, by the way, comes without a cost to your company, right? So these are kind of like the customer service things that we provide at Cloudinly, which is brought to you by MTN. So without much ado, I'm going to dive right into the Cloudinly site. So basically, if you get to the MTN eShop, you see Cloudinly, click on Cloudinly, and you register Cloudinly. This is the page it brings you to. All right. So this here right now is your landing page. All right. So these are all the options that you have as a root admin. So if you come to settings here, for example, you can switch between sorry, not at settings here, you can switch between your ESS. So if you go to the ESS, which is the employment self-service, which every employee is going to have. All right. So this you're seeing here is root admin here. All right, which provides whoever the root admin is. The root admin basically is the person who sets up the company. So the system recognizes that person as a root admin. But by the way, you should know that the root admin can be changed. So, I mean, you can get whoever it is in your company to set up this account. And then after that, you transfer the admin rights to the proper person who's meant to run the account. All right. So you can switch here your company profile. All right. This is where you basically find out and set up your company profile and everything that you need to know. So all these things there. And like I said, because of time, I'm going to make this as concise as possible. But going forward, we also have how-to videos on the MTN eShop site where that will be uploading so that whatever problems you have, you can always go there. And then if you have further issues, we also have customer service lines which you can call to be connected with. All right. So doing a quick view on this. So this is organization here. So under organization, you can sorry, I think it threw me out. Let me log back in. All right, so there you go. So I'm going to the admin console first so that I can run through everything that we have here. So this organization where basically you plan your organization structure, which is where you create your reporting lines and stuff like that, right? So everybody has a department. So you can see at the MD's office who reports to the MD, business development, engineering, finance, HR, marketing. But all of this comes empty when you sign up to Cloudinly. So during your onboarding process, you create your own organization structure. All right. You created whatever terms or names you want to give to your people or to the various departments in your organization can be set by you. This basically is populated for the purposes of this demonstration. All right. So once you set up your organization structure, you go to your job levels. This is where you choose how many job levels you have, what kind of job levels those are. So you have the categories there. Again, this is set up for this demo. So the job levels, you can have different job levels and different functions under each job level, right? So the description basically tells you what a person does, and all of this is set up by you. You can always set that up to come out whichever way you want it to be. All right. So from after that, the designation is what the person's job is, the type of job he has, whether it's supervisory, non-supervisory, whether he's a temp or he's not a temp, whether he's a volunteer, not a volunteer, then the levels he has, and then the unit where he is, and then reporting line. So this goes all the way to who who your immediate boss is. All right. And then here, people. So when we have people, so you have employees and you have people. So employees are the people who you pay for. All right. And then your people are maybe your consultants who are part of your company, but not necessarily who your company pays. All right. So it could be like an external HR consultant or whoever it is. These come into people, and all these people have access depending on the level of access you've given them for your Cloudinly account. All right. So once you set up your organization, then you can come to location. Location is where you have when your office has multiple branches. You know, when your office has multiple branches or multiple locations, you can come in here and then and populate the data as required. All right. So you have different addresses, and then also something great about Cloudinly is that from one account you can actually manage two businesses. So maybe business A bakes cakes, all right, and then business B runs logistics. All of that can come on the location. Okay, so you can use this to actually manage two different companies wherever they are, and all the people who work in those different companies. All right, and then you come down to employees. So this is basically where you create your employees. You know, you distribute them according to location, how many people are in each office, what they do in those offices. You create your employee directory so that it's easy for you or the HR person to locate where everybody is and what they all do in those places. So this basically is what it looks like. It's taken a while to load the page, but basically it's the employee's function, the designation of that person, the person's job level, the employment type, whether it's a permanent thing, whether it's a temporary thing, whether the person is what do you call it, a volunteer, and all of that. All right. So who they report to, date of engagement, and then what the person currently does. That's the ongoing action, is what the person currently does for your office. And then on the confirmation, of course, this is where it tells you the details about your employee's status, whether he's fully confirmed, not yet confirmed, how long it's going to take him to confirm, whether you need to do an exceptional confirmation, you know, maybe so somebody joins you and on his letter, he has 6 months confirmation period, and then he does exceptionally well. This is where you come and say, okay, do you know what? I'm going to set these criteria. If this person does this in 3 months, then he gets confirmed. Or if he doesn't do so well after 6 months, but you still see a viability in going on having the person, this is where you come and then extend the person's confirmation period as of when due. All right. So from there you come to promotions. So this is what it is. You know, this is where you can come look at employee by employee, set the criteria for the promotions, promotion period, if there are any new designations that the person has to join, new pay range, gross salaries, effective date for that promotion, and stuff like that. And then the initiated by is who initiated the process of that promotion. All right. And then the status is whether the person it has received approval or whether it hasn't received approval. Okay. And the redeployment is, and I'm having my data, I don't know why it's very slow. So these pages are taking a while to load up. And the redeployment is basically where you come and then said, okay, great, this is good. So the redeployment is where you come and decide what branch or what new location any current employee is going to. So maybe you're moving somebody from Abuja to Lagos. And why this is important is apart from keeping a good track of where your people are at every point in time, but you know, when you get to compliance, which is a taxation place, every state in the country has a different tax office or tax code. And then when you move your stuff from one place to another, you also have to edit the person's tax code so that it reflects the correct deductions from the person's salary at each point in time, right? So so here's delegation management, basically where you create who everybody everybody leverages off. I was talking about HR being able to form collaborations between departments. All right. So this is where you set all of that up. All right. So you decide who delegates authority to the other person or who supports that person or whatever. And then, of course, it tells you when you're doing that delegation, what is the reason for that delegation? Okay. So you can see exactly where everybody is at each point in time. Okay. So the start date and end date basically tells you when the person started that new function and then when that is supposed to end. And then after that, you come to compensation. Compensation basically deals with so for an organization, what it tells you is how much you're paying at each point in time, whether it's per day, per month, per year. So you know how much at each point in time, how much you're spending on each employee, how much you're spending on each grade level. Okay, so this is where it shows you all of that. And then, of course, creates all the metrics that you need to decide whether you're paying somebody, whether you're paying any part of your company in excess of what you're meant to do. All right. And then, of course, with this, you can easily make adjustments when you need to make adjustments on compensation. So so after that, pay inside is basically a more detailed function. So it tells you exactly what your salary ranges are for each pay grade. Okay, so how many people you have in each pay grade, how many people you have in each department, what the annual salary ranges, and stuff like that. Okay, so with this, you can know exactly when you move someone to a new place, it tells you exactly what that person's earnings are going to be going forward. Right, so you can see the branches, the departments, the grade level of the person, salary, the average salary for that range, and all of that. So after that, we come to the almighty payroll. Okay. So like I said, payroll is one thing that every HR person is interested in. Every single HR person knows payroll. It's important. Like Adora was saying, if you don't pay them well, they run away. So this is where you decide how much you pay, when you pay cycles, dates for payments and stuff like that. So here, of course, when you process your payroll, this is where you approve everybody's pay. Once you've approved that, then you can send it for payment. Okay, so when it says go to Payrun is basically once you've done all the approvals, you click on Payrun, and then the salaries are automatically credited to the employee's accounts. Okay. And then here again is where you have that's the eligibility of your staff. Okay. What kind of pay that they have, whether it's monthly, weekly, bi-monthly, whatever. So you set all of that, know what their gross payments are, and then whether they're eligible for the pay or not. Like I said, because of time, I'm trying to run through this quickly. But whenever you guys, whoever signs up with us, or whatever questions you have after this, I'll be willing to answer all of that. So again, like I said, variable earnings is where you also many people who work overtime, and then this is also good for your temps. People who work overtime, what kind of variable earnings that they're allowed to. All of this is where you set it up. Okay, you set it up as a company so that you can know who is entitled to what and when they're entitled to it. So like I said, we have the regulation payments, the pensions, pension, payee, and NHF, which is taxation, housing, and the pension contributions. Good thing about this is that once this is in part of what you buy, what it means is that so all the correct percentages have already been keyed into the system. All right. So you just key in the person's the cycle, the payroll ID, the number of employees who are paying that deductions per person, and then all of that. So it does all of that for you automatically. And the payee is also something that most employers are interested in. Why? Because it shows you exactly how much tax every staff by grade level, by person is paying at each point in time. So once you enable it, then you now populate it with your staff names, and it does all of that. And of course, the National Housing Fund, if your company is somebody who pays that, then you also get that done through using Cloudly, right? So this takes you to your leave management. So here you know the year the leave is due, total number of employees who have outstanding, who have applied for their leave, or whoever wants to go for the leave entitlement days, planned leave days, unplanned days. Now, this also helps you to know when there's a clash in leaves. So here, if you go to leave request, it tells you who is applying for the leave, what date the person is applying for the leave, and then whether the leave has been approved, whether the allowances have been paid or requested. And then from this, the HR manager automatically or immediately knows whether you have people from the same department who their leaves or planned leaves are clashing. And then with that, you can make amendments when you need to, okay? So days back request, of course, you know, when if your company has this policy, then what it means is that if you haven't spent up all your leave days and the person wants to request that back, then you can approve it from here, all right? And then year-end balances basically tells you by the end of the year how many days outstanding each employee has from their leave. All right. Then advance and loans is where you set up what level of because remember that this is the admin console. I'm still going to go to the ESS, which is for each employee. So this is basically where you set up what kind of advances and loans that you give to your people, what percentage, whether those loans have been approved or not, who has applied, how much are they paying back each month from their salaries and stuff like that. So this is what you have under advance and loans. Then over time, we all know what it is. How many days are you doing in overtime, what you're paying for overtime and stuff like that. Now here, performance is the appraisal section, which is something everybody, because this helps you to not only appraise your staff, but also helps you appraise yourself as a company. All right. So under here, here's where you basically set the periods for your appraisal. Okay. So you decide as a company whether you're doing appraisals every quarter, twice a year, or whatever. You set that, and then the system takes it up and then prompts you, or prompts both the supervisor and the staff at each point of appraisal that this is appraisal period, and then they can meet. And then appraisals that can be done remotely as well. So they don't have to be in the same space for them to be able to get the appraisals done. Okay. So here is where you basically have the performance agreement. So you set what you're being appraised for. Okay, what you're being appraised for, and how many times in a year that appraisal is going to happen. And then here, of course, is where also you know how many appraisals have come in, and how those appraisals have been taken care of. So the employee appraisal here is whether the person has met with the manager, whether it's appraisal has been done, and then the organizational scorecard basically tells you how well you're doing as a company. So all those appraisals that have been done will come here, and then you can look at it and say, okay, we are doing very well, or no, we're not doing very well. And then that's where maybe you have to we spoke a lot earlier on about training, about downsizing and stuff like that. So all of that comes in here under your organizational scorecard. And then you know exactly who is doing what they're not doing, why they're not doing that. And then you can decide easily whether to let people go or whether to train them further. All right. So approvals.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, if we could just have a quick look at the ESS, because we are actually run out of time now.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
we just have about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, serious? Okay. All right. So before we go to that, I was just going to tell them about the analytics as well, because Cloudingly comes with perfect analytics. Okay. So this is where, like I said, you can see organizational analytics, where your company is, what they are doing, and all of that. Then the employee analytics, how are they performing? And then the payroll analytics, what am I paying? When am I paying it? And what is it costing me basically to run my business? All right, so we can switch to the ESS console here. And then when you come here, it basically tells you, of course, the employee's personal info, what he wants, and then pay slips is where the employee can go back, print out your pay slips, and this actually a PDF pay slip where, you know, for whether you want to use it for embassy purposes or whether it's for your own records, whenever you want to print it out, you come to your pay slip and get that done. Okay. So the directory is a directory of everybody in the company. So you can look at everybody, all your colleagues, know who reports to who and what their designation is or what their function is and stuff like that. Then under leave management, ESS, this is where you come and create your leave plan, request for your leave allowances, and then of course in a snapshot, know exactly how many days you have left or how many days have been approved for your very level. And then the advance and loans is the same thing, where you come and apply for your loans, submit it, and then you can track it when it's been approved, whether it's pending and stuff like that. All right. Then the overtime as well is where you come in, fill out. If you've done overtime, this is where you come in and fill out what those overtime periods are, and then make requests for payments and stuff like that. All right. Then approval is two ways. Whether you're an approver. Okay, so if you're an approver, you go to my approvals and get the approvals for your subordinates. Or if you're not, under my request is where you now make your own request for your boss's approval. And of course, performance. This is where you know exactly how you're doing. Okay, where you agreements as well, whatever set agreements you've had with your boss, it's where it comes in. And then your appraisal is when you have done your appraisal, who your line managers are, and then, you know, where you can fill out the appraisal forms for your boss to approve and then have discussions with you. So in a quick nutshell, this is Cloudingly, okay? And like I said earlier on, the question I keep asking is, why should I switch to Cloudingly? Why should I trust NTN on this? Okay. And I can tell you, like I've said before, that it will take your company, it will surprise you what having a HR tool can do to a small company or even a medium-sized company. It'll surprise you pleasantly because it creates certain things that you're wondering, how do I do this? How do I get this done? How do I know what that stuff is doing and stuff like that? In one place, you can see everything and then take your decisions on the go, and don't worry about what's it called, about government harassment and stuff like that. So Derry, thanks. This is Cloudingly in a nutshell.
Yes, you've done a great job, Chimwaya. Please, can we have digital hands for him? A round of applause for Chimwaya. Thank you so much. So I know there are lots of questions in the chat, and our partners have also been responding to this question. Somebody was asking if the payroll stuff leads to the banks. Of course, it's integrated to your banking, all the banking sector. So once you've inputted everybody's banking details, salaries are paid with ease. And he was trying to say, a well-organized HR and payroll solution will make your company bankable. Investors are looking for organized businesses to invest in. So just give them the information from your Cloudinly platform that this is everything in a screenshot. Investors are no longer scared. They know this is an organized business that they can actually do business with and invest in. Imagine a company that wants to get a loan, or you are looking for venture capitalists to come. They want to see how your business is doing, but this is how MTN is helping you to put your business on that cutting edge to attract venture capitalists and investors. So we have a giveaway. Okay. So someone said, can you do this giveaway already? So MTN is offering any business on this call, or anyone, even you can tell your friends that are also business owners, if you sign up for Cloudinly between now and the end of April, for the monthly plan, for your number of employees and all that, you get a 1 month free. If you get a monthly plan, if you sign up for a monthly plan, you get a 1 month free. And if you sign up for an annual plan, you get a 3 months extension. Are we together? If you sign up for Cloudinly, the monthly plan, you get a 1 month extension. If you sign up for a yearly plan, you get a 3 months extension. Isn't that beautiful? So if you sign up now between today, this Friday, and end of April, last day in April, that'll be April 30th, right? If you sign up between now and April 30th. So how do you do that? Simply send an email to us at letstalk.ng. Letstalk.ng at mtn.com. I'll put that in the chat room. So please tell your friends that are business owners that guy, that's HR solution that you are using, that you have to pay dollars for every time. You don't need to do that anymore. We have Cloudinly from MTN. And what you just need to do is visit www.mtn.ng/business/Cloudinly. All right, I'll take that again. www.mtn.ng/business/Cloudinly. I'll put that in the chat. .mtn.ng/business/Cloudinly. Also, we are not done with the giveaways. Is somebody still excited? Are you still here? So we have a couple of nice trivia questions, and I feel like giving out some data today. Okay, anybody in need of some data to just run some things? Okay. I feel like giving out some data. Okay, I can see hands up. I want data. So you just need to ask you a couple of questions, and you just be, and this is how you're going to do it. I have, for 5 people, I want to give out data. Okay, and I'm going to give you data coupons that you're going to redeem via the MTN app. Okay, so you're just going to drop your name, your full name, your MTN number. Please make sure it's an MTN number, and your email address and the correct answer. Okay, let me take that again. Your name, your full name, your MTN phone number, and your correct email address and the correct answer. So if I were you, I will have typed all that one down. So your name, your phone number, your correct email address, then you put in the correct answer. So the first, I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and the first correct answer will get it. All right. So these questions will just come from the top of my head and some from the webinar that we've done today. All right, are we good to go? Can I see hands up saying I'm good to go, I'm good to go, I'm good to go? Yep. Everybody's good to go. So, can you give me the website? Can you give me the website for Cloudingly? The website for Cloudingly. The web page for Cloudingly. That's the first question. One, two, three, four, and that's it. Who has the first correct answer? Website for Cloudingly. Okay. Your name, your business name, your correct email address and phone number. And my first correct answer is Amusa Dayo. Amusa Dayo. So my colleague is capturing that. Amusa Dayo, mtn.ng/business/Cloudingly. So you are getting data from MTN, a data coupon. So we'll be sending it to your email address. So please be on the lookout for an email from MTN Business. MTN Business. It will have your data coupon code and how you are going to activate it. Brilliant. So second question is coming up. Second question is coming up. Just a minute. I believe somebody should have gone to look at the website of MTN by now. So how many plans are available for Cloudingly? How many plans are available for Cloudingly? Name, phone number, email address. No. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay, I have my first correct answer. And it's from Chileobim Cyril Soronadi. Chileobim Cyril Soronadi, he said 4. Correct? He has 4. We have 4 plans. We have the flexi plan, we have the basic, we have the standard, and we have the premium. Okay. We have the flexi plan, you have the basic, you have the standard, and you have the premium. Okay, the flexi is pay as you go and all that. So Chileobim Cyril Soronadi, is that? Are you in the chat room? Yeah, please just capture. Chileobim Cyril Soronadi. Correct answer is 4 plans. Okay. So, alrighty. So I hope we are having fun. More questions still to come. More questions still to come. Okay. Oh, people are just joining now when they heard that there's a giveaway. All right. So let's do this. You have data coupon from MTN. Okay. Can you, so next question. What is the starting price for Cloudingly? What is the lowest price for Cloudingly per month? What is the lowest subscription cost per employee per month on Cloudingly? Remember, your full name, your email address, your phone number. And I'm talking about the basic plan now. Okay. I see people are answering the questions. And it's ending in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. So we have our first winner. First correct answer, Adeoye Shijibomil of Lotus Beta Analytics, 760 naira per employee per month for the basic. Okay. 760 naira for the basic plan. Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. So you get the data coupon from MTN. And thank you so much. So I still feel like giving out more data, right? I still feel like giving out more data. This is why you should always be at our webinars till the end. What other question? I'm looking for a hard question now. Okay, can you give me the name? Okay, this is off Cloudinly. Can you give me the 2 names of our female panelists today? The names of our 2 panelists today, the female panelists. Their names. Okay. Chileobim, you've already answered one question before, so I can't give you again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Fantastic. Omolara Diogo, Adara Ikwemesi, and Samantha. Fantastic. Fantastic. So you get a data coupon from MTN, a 2 gig data coupon. Thank you for being attentive. Thank you for remembering. Is Samantha still on the call? And Adara? You know, people get to forget people. You've done your part, so you come and be going. I've forgotten your name. So they remembered our 2 panelists. Our 2 panelists. Okay, so let me ask the final question. So I have 5 coupons, I said. So I have, okay. My friend, give me one hard question for this people. Give me one hard question. Let me see what, and because we are closing now, and I need to give one last question. Give me the MTN business website. This is a giveaway. MTN business website. Final question. This is a final giveaway. I just want to dash people. MTN business website. MTN business website. Okay. So we are closing now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. So I have my final winner. Oh, this person. Oh. Okay, so I have my final winner. His name is Gozie Udemba. Gozie Udemba. He got the right answer. And that is my final winner for today. I just wanted to be very lenient. Let me just give, yeah, we're rounding up now. Yeah. So it was nice having all of you on the call. Thank you for joining us fully today. And it was nice having you. Please visit mtn.ng/business. You see quite a lot of products and services from MTN to you, our SMEs, to be able to take. We peaked at about 100 and something people on this call, and it was nice having you. Remember, this call is recorded. This webinar is recorded, and it will be on our YouTube channel. We'll send it to your emails as well. The link to the YouTube video in a couple of days, so that you can watch it over and over again. Remember, for you to sign up on Cloudinly between now and to be eligible for this, please send us your email, your business name, and the email address that you use to sign up on our eShop. Our eShop is shop.mtn.com, shop.mgn.com, and you'll be able to access our eShop, okay, so that you can subscribe for Cloudingly. I'm going to put the link on the chat now, shop.mtn.ng, and you just search for Cloudingly and subscribe. So once you subscribe to any of the plans, please send an email to letstalk.ng@mtn.com. You are eligible to an extension, one extra month if you subscribe for 1 month, and you have a 3 months extension if you subscribe for an annual plan. Okay, so please visit shop.mtn.ng, search for Cloudingly, and subscribe. So if you subscribe between now and the end of April, that is the 30th of April, you are eligible for this, and that is through the eShop, and I've dropped the link on the chat. As I said again, please visit our platform, mtn.ng/business, for many more insightful products that will make SMEs to have a great time and to be more productive. We'll be dropping a feedback form for this webinar on the chat now, and please kindly help us fill the feedback form so that we can get your feedback on how you saw this webinar. What can we do better? What did you benefit from this webinar? What more do you want us to do? How can we make it better for you as our SMEs? Thank you very much for spending this time with us. My name is Adirin Sola. Thanks to all our panelists, Samantha, Nadora, and Chimwaya. Thanks to all my colleagues that were also on the call as well. Till we'll come again on another SME webinar. Please stay safe and have a lovely weekend. Bye for now.